Martin, I want to begin with, go back to our last time we were together in March, a presentation you gave. You spoke out about the highway bill, the need for highway funding legislation. I wonder if you could share with our viewers some of the comments that you made and why you felt the need as a business leader to speak out on the issue.
Yeah, when we talked last time, I just returned from Washington, where we had very good and intense discussions about the next round of emissions and the necessity to reduce CO2, which means to increase fuel efficiency for our customers. And it dawned to me that we are really haggling here about 2 or 3 percentage points. And then you look and see how many endless hours trucks are standing in traffic jams and wasting fuel there. And for me, to go on the one side for one of the strictest regulations we ever have on CO2, and on the other side, just let it sit there, literally. Sit the trucks there on the roads in traffic jams and waste fuel and pollute with CO2 the environment. That for me made no sense. So I used to speak up if something makes no sense to me.
Mm-hmm. You talk about some of the testing that Freightliner and Daimler Trucks does on the loop and how quickly you see some of the fuel economy losses. You could share a little bit about that?
Absolutely, because that was a background for my comment. So it's potentially important to let your readers or viewers hear about that. We do something which we call scientific testing. That means we really try to have scientific methods to figure out how our trucks perform and, more importantly, what new components do on those trucks. So we try really to measure fractions of percentages of fuel efficiency gains. When we do that, we run always the same route. It's Portland, Pendleton, Portland, 420 miles back and forth, and it resembles a little bit the average North American routing our customers are doing. So it's an ideal route for that. We figured out that if we have one single, traffic jam in between, it screws up all the results. Mainly taking away all the advantages we might have from a new component. So we started to map the entire lane in 0.5 mile increments, and we look at the fuel efficiency of every single increment, and then we throw away everything where we see anomalies, meaning traffic jams, and focus just on the good stretches. But if you look on the bad stretches, you see ultimately that 1.5 mile of traffic jam takes away any fuel advantage you might have in a 3% fuel advantage gain over the entire length.
And it's certainly not unusual to be in a traffic jam now, something only projected to get worse.
Over 400 miles you run in a 1.5 mile traffic jam pretty often happened. And with trucking, it's even more cumbersome than in passenger cars, because in trucking you are not just idling that time. You always have to start accelerating your entire load, and then after a couple of feet you have to go to a standstill again, and then you have to re-accelerate and bring it to a standstill again. And that's potentially the worst, part of the truck performance. Our trucks are designed to roll and to coast. That is what the future of fuel efficient driving is, and therefore we need uncongested highways in North America, and we don't get that just by hoping and wishing. Hope is not a strategy. You have to do things different than yesterday, and that thing means we have to invest into our infrastructure, and that costs money, and then we have to get that money and really start to work and not just talk. Talk does not change the world. Work does.
There have been a lot of discussion about different methods about funding, whether it be fuel tax, other. That's something that you're interested in getting involved with, or is your message more, let's figure out a way to get this done because of the way it's hurting some of the larger goals that are going on?
As an industry leader, I want the things get done. I'm not a politician. There might be more implications. I was raised inside our company in the finance department, and when I was a controller, it was all about steering impulses. Set the right impulses, meaning reward the behavior you want and punish the behavior you don't want. And for me, then this game we have on the one side the excise tax on trucks, where we basically punish new technology. because new technology comes with a cost. If it would be cost-free, we would always have it on the truck. Yeah, so any new technology comes with a cost. So we punish that with a higher excise tax, because you have to pay excise tax on that. And on the other side, when you waste fuel, you get rewarded by a very low fuel tax. So for me, the first move would be get rid of the excise tax and increase the fuel tax. And if you need some more money for the highway bill, then you have to get it out of fuel ultimately.